What's up, guys? Big Clyde 34 and Bogart coming at you today with Drag Week 2019 coverage. We're gonna hop into the action in one hot second here, but first, let me give you a little bit of background on what's going on. This year on Drag Week, we actually caught up with the one and only Mike Finnegan. Just like anybody else, Finnegan had his fair share of adversity trying to make it through this battle of an event. Today, we're gonna catch up with him, talk a little bit about the struggle of completing Drag Week, learn a little bit about his car, what he's been up to, what he's got going on. Of course, feature all the racing. That's what you guys are here for, right? So I thank you for tuning in. Today's video is sponsored by nobody but my damn self. So if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate you showing some love to the like button, subscribing below, hit the notification icon, and you'll be the first to know when we drop those. So let's hop straight into the action, guys. It was a great time. Drag Week 2019. Let's get into it.
Probably one of the more popular, if not the most popular car here. But for those who are not acquainted yet, can you give us a little bit of info on the setup you have here?
That was loose. It's a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air. I bought it as a bare, rusted out, smashed body out of Hemet, California about 7 years ago. David Freiberg and I filmed an episode of Roadkill, drug the body on a trailer up to Oregon, where we slapped the body on top of a Jim Meyer Racing gasser chassis. And then we mocked up one of Freiberger's 426 Hemis, and that's how this car ended up with a Hemi in it. And we spent the next, I think, 13 months building it in its original iteration, which ended up being a 528 Mopar Performance Great Hemi with Hillborn stack injection. It had no supercharger back then. And we immediately jumped in it and drove cross country from LA to North Carolina, and that was our shakedown run. And at the time, I just wanted a cool cruiser. I didn't have really any intentions of racing it because I was pretty deep into drag boat racing back then, and that ate up all my money and time. And I got interested in Hot Rod Drag Week event and the gasser class specifically because I modeled the car after the two-lane blacktop 55 Chevy. And so kind of set my sights on that was the goal. Like, let's do whatever we can to make this thing competitive. And over the last couple of years, we've slowly lowered the ET until Monday we ran an 852 at 161, which I'll be honest, I never thought my car would ever need a parachute, nor did I think it would ever go 160, which is probably why I didn't have the trunk lid mounted good enough to stay on, because it blew right off. It's a blower shop 871 high helix blower. It's a new case designed for them. It's got injectors in the case. It's kind of a prototype deal. It's a Hillborn 4-port on top, stage 5 cylinder heads, an old Bill Mitchell aluminum block that I got from Steve Atwell. It's got CP pistons, Brillo rods, a bullet camshaft, Indy rocker arms, MSD ignition, Holley Dominator EFI is running everything, even the ignition. It's a Delta PAG radiator. I mentioned that because the damn thing works. Like, this car always overheated. And the moment I put this thing on there, you can sit in traffic all day. Yeah, this is an amazing deal with brushless fans. It works killer. I run it on pump gas on the street, and then when we get here, we put it on Rocket Brand E85, and to do that, we made our own fuel cell. It's divided in the middle. It's got 16 gallons of pump gas on one side and 4 on the other, and we use a couple of NASCAR ball valves that would be for an oil cooler to switch the fuel systems, and there's 4 fuel pumps, 2 in each tank. So it's connector, turn 2 ball valves, and you can go racing. Blower makes about 18 pounds of boost, and it's a lot of fun. The engine was built by Harrell Engine and Dyno in Mooresville, North Carolina. All the chassis and suspension refinements were done by Big and Customs by Big, and I always screw that up. Also in Mooresville, they're next door neighbors. Eric Yost and his crew there were amazing. This car never went straight. Those guys spent like 4 hours on it last year during drag week and dropped the ET 210s immediately. It was incredible. And now the car is not scary to drive anymore. The whole thing's backed by a G-Force 5-speed. It's a GF5R, I think is the name of it. It's a clutch-assisted 5-speed manual. So you use the clutch in first gear, and then after that, just work the throttle and bank shift it. It's a quick performance 9-inch full of strange parts, strange axles, strange center sections, 325 gear. The wheels are by Mike Curtis, custom made to look like an old hologram. And Lincoln Thompson tires, that's about it. And the windows are optic armor. I built all the exhausts myself out of a kit from stainlessheaders.com.
Right.
Like, we built all the headers in my garage at home, and I like the way it turned out. The side pipes help a little bit. They're actually full-length mufflers, and they're quiet enough where you still got to wear earmuffs to drive the thing. It's ridiculous, but it's not as bad as when the bullhorns are on it.
Right.
And yeah, man, that's my car. We got into the hotel at 6 a.m. this morning. I think we've slept 19 hours the entire week, and we're gonna go finish drag week right now.
Jared Scott, who's in that Ranchero gasser. Finnegan mathematically only needs to run 9.145, and Jared cannot get around. So the math says Finnegan only needs to go to 9.145. However, the truth in his heart and yours and mine is that he wants to put down another 850, just like he did on day 1 here in Blasphemi. This thing is powered by a 526 cubic inch Chrysler Hemi with a supercharger on it from the floor shop, and he's got a G-force behind him. Finnegan goes to the 8th at 113 miles an hour.
Aside from what you talked about, is there anything else that you changed on the car between street and strip, or that's pretty much
No, we gotta, because we're towing a trailer, we have to jack the car up, take the coilovers, unbolt them, and move the mounting position to lift the car, the back of the car up to tow the trailer and lower it down for the street, for the strip. We changed the blower pulley. I run a big pulley on the street to slow the blower speed down, try to keep the heat down and make the blower a little longer. I've got a Walker Performance filter that goes on top here. It takes the stacks off, keeps the dirt out of the motor, and then side pipes on. That's about it, man. You know, it takes us a while to do everything, but there's maybe like 5 things we have to do.
right on? And do you have a favorite story that sticks out with you with this thing? I mean, I know you guys go through a lot of crazy stuff with it.
I don't know, my brain is mush right now.
I feel you on that
The only reason I can remember all that info was I was staring at the car as I
Right.
told you the story.
Right on.
I don't know, I mean, this whole trip's been amazing, you know, like the stories of human suffering and perseverance here, you know, by people who are competing for a jacket or a plaque and not money are pretty incredible, you know, like, I mean, dude, I blew up first gear in my transmission yesterday, got the parts from another racer named Andy Starr, he works at Hillborn, and then I needed a snap ring plier to put the gear in. I didn't have it, and you need a pretty aggressive snap ring plier to do the job. I got it from the guy that's in second place in my class, the guy I'm trying to race today, you know. And so when he was ready to leave, he fired up his motor and broke a rocker arm in half. So I'm like, dude, take my spare. I want your best, you know. Like, we're gonna do this. I don't want you broken. Let's do it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's nothing. Everybody here will help everybody else because, like I said, we're not racing for any money, you know.
Other than the transmission issue, you have any other obstacles you've been going through here with Drag Week?
We blew up an alternator on day 1, had to change it in the lanes. Again, Scott Brown, Drag Week racer, came over here, gave us an alternator. We ran the battery too low, and when I was putting the street tune in the EFI, I bricked the Holley Dominator ECU. It was my fault. That locked up, and we were stranded at a gas station. Throttle position sensor, managed to break that last night. We blew the trunk lid off at Cecil, like 160 miles an hour. That thing went flying in the air. But I don't know. I mean, the only one thing I really care about is the motor, because I've had such problems with that thing over the years. But this thing, dead nuts reliable, dude. And I hope I didn't jinx myself, but this is the last thing I'm worried about on this trip. Everything else is fixable.
What are you working on these days?
I'm working on some sleep right now. I don't know. We're actually here filming an episode of Roadkill, so if you guys have the Motor Trend app or Motor Trend on demand, you know, or cable, you'll get to see that. This will be a good one. I mean, if anyone ever thinks this thing is staged, watch this episode.
I've seen it. It's not.
It is not.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out. Very busy man, and best of luck with the rest of Drag Week for you.
Thanks, brother.